We want that track to be a successful one so you can do it again, right? And again, and again. And then you won't need us to step in because you've seen everything that we've done, and you would have that trusted, group of, subcontractors, general contractors, inspectors, whatever you need. We just want to kind of give you that path to follow and tell you it's not that challenging. Construction's hard, right? Owning property is hard, right? Getting the financing really isn't. People that are telling you that it is, you're just talking to the wrong people.
Hey, what's going on, Mo? Chris, one of our RCA members, just joined, a roofer. So we're definitely pleased that you'll be sharing this information. So did you want to tell people a little bit about yourself and your company?
Absolutely. So my name is Ryan Cotter. I've been in residential financing for 32 years now. I come from a very, very blue collar family. Dad was an electrician, uncle was a carpenter, the other cousin was a plumber. So I've been in construction. I've been on construction sites since I was 10 years old, right? So I love the combination of understanding the finance and the construction aspect. I do a lot of projects myself. I have ADD. I have to have projects going on at all times. My kids got their own Home Depot aprons. We love construction. As soon as I'm done with one, the missus has already, been done with that. She gets it. I gotta go buy something else and I gotta fix it up. Love taking ugly ducklings, turning them into swans, and then showing people that they can do it too, right? So my background in residential and commercial financing helps me to explain reverse engineering. I want this money. How do I get this money, right? What do I need to do working backwards to front so that I can get this? Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I can get it when I get there. I always tell people this isn't a get rich quick scheme. It's a get wealthy over time plan, right? Understanding the rules so you can navigate them. So that's what I do. I educate people. I tell people you can check out my website. It's 4321hack, HACK. For hack, trick, tip. That's the new word for making things move faster. So 4321hack.com. Okay. So let's dive in. I'm going to start off with a couple definitions, right? Because I just went over a couple, right? So we got residential. So that's 1 to 4 units. Financing for residential is, government, conventional, money, FHA, VA, right? 4 units or less. That's the cheapest long-term fixed money. We want to get as much of that as possible, right? Then 5 units and above, if it was apartments and residential, that would fall into commercial, right? That also can mean mixed use. So storefront on the first floor, 3 apartments above, commercial, right? Warehouse, commercial, strip mall, commercial. So anything under 4 units and less, residential, everything else kind of falls into the commercial space, right? So I'm going to start with the residential financing. So there's a bunch of residential renovation loans that people do not use because they have a bad reputation, okay? So this is the 203K. This is the home style renovation. This is the Freddie Choice, right? There's a ton of them out there. And I would tell you honestly, these are the best programs that are mostly underutilized because of the lack of expertise by the people that you call when you ask, hey, I want to get one of these loans. They're like, oh, you don't want to get these loans. It's bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what that's code for? It's a lot of work, right? They don't know how to do it. And so they kind of say, no, you don't want that. Just go find something that's ready to go. Right? That's it. And use your own money. You don't want to get the free cheap money. So it's wrapped in your loan on a 30-year fix. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. That's not good. I'm telling you that's absolutely incorrect. If you go to our website and you see some of the testimonials, go to our YouTube page, 4321hack YouTube. We've started cataloging success stories with people on how they can use these tools effectively, efficiently, and they create wealth, right? They buy a four flat. So I put together the system called the 4-3-2-1 Steps to Financial Freedom. And if I understand that the gatekeepers of the money, the underwriters, are going to want to believe that I live in the property. If I live in the property, I get a very low down payment option, and I can get money to fix it up, and I get a 30-year fixed. So my 4-3-2-1 system is predicated on buying a four flat first. The 4 stands for a four flat, a 4-unit property. Then you buy a 3-unit, then you buy a 2-unit, then you buy a single family. The reason why I do that is because the gatekeepers, the underwriters, will believe that you buy a 4 flat, you live in that 4 flat, and then the technique is called BRRRR, buy, renovate, refinance, and repeat, right? That's an older term out there. So I buy my 4 flat, I fix it up, I renovate it, I refinance it because now I've created equity, now I'm creating cash flow, and I repeat. And I repeat that by buying a 3 flat. The reason why I buy a 3 flat is because the underwriters are going to believe that I'm going to move from the 4 flat to the 3 flat. They're going to believe that I'm going to occupy that because there's less tenants, right? It's a simple explanation. And what are they going to allow me to do is to use the low down payment acquisition renovation loan again, because I'm going down in units. Then do the same thing, BRRRR, buy, renovate, refinance, repeat. Now I'm going to buy a 2 flat, right? And the underwriters, again, will believe that I'm going down in unit size to the 2 flat, right? Then I buy the single family. A lot of people will do it the other way around. They'll buy a single family, and then they'll like, oh, now I got my base set. Now I want to invest in real estate. What you've inadvertently done is eliminate that low down payment option, because now the underwriter is going to believe it's an investment property. You're not going to live there, and your down payment jumps up to 25%. So your barrier entry has just jumped up. If you follow my system, you can use 3.5% with an FHA loan. You can use 3.5% with an FHA loan, 3.5% FHA loan, 3.5%, or the Fannie Mae version, 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, right? And then you now have this mini portfolio of properties, that are going to be cash flowing, and that single family home, all the passive income from the 4 flat, from the 3 flat, from the 2 flat will cover your housing payment on the single family home. I'm showing you how to eliminate the largest debt in your life, which is your housing payment, right? By following the system. Now, I will put out some already, disclaimers, right? It's not for everybody. Being a landlord, nobody, says like, oh, I want to wake up and be a landlord when they, when they're 7 years old, right? So you're dealing with tenants. They are your clients. You got to have that mindset. And if you do, this is a pathway. There's a billion books on the internet that are going to tell you how to, create wealth. I'm telling you from the finance side that if you follow this path, you can replicate it again and again. Now, once you're done with that, and you're kind of moving up to the bigger, properties like 5 units, 10 units, well, then you got to use, commercial financing. There's just no way around it. There's no like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, 5% down on a 5 unit, 10 unit, 20 unit. But by that time, you would have created equity, which you can leverage with home equity lines of credits, cash out refinances, and that will give you the money to go into those bigger products. They have the same ones, right? They have acquisition and renovation loans for a 5 flat, right? They have acquisition renovation loans for a 100-unit building, right? They're generally around 25% of your acquisition and renovation costs. So that barrier entry, get investment property, they don't care that you're living there, is very high. So my technique is, basically the crawl, walk, run technique, which is you start with these buildings, these residential 4 flats, 3 flats, 2 flats, create that base. It's all set up on nice 30-year fixed money, so you can set it and forget it. You don't have to worry about going back like the commercial mortgages. The commercial mortgages are generally around 5, sometimes 7 years. They're very rare to get anything longer than that, which means you have to kind of retrade them every 5 to 7 years, right? So depending on where interest rates are, it could be better, it could be slightly worse. There's some unknowns, but the residential ones, those are set forever. Those are the ones you turn over to your kids and you say, here you go, daddy and mommy were very nice to you. we bought this building, now we're giving it to you. It's going to pay for your college, it's going to pay for your wedding, and it's going to set you up, in the future. So I think the biggest takeaway that I want people to understand is that don't let the limiting beliefs of others affect you, right? So if somebody says, I say this a lot, like if I talk to somebody and they say you can't do something, I just like, I'm talking to the wrong person, right? And I just said, this is not the guy. Okay, good talking to you. Talk to you later. And when people say like, hey, if I can't do this, maybe I'm just talking to the right guy. And I like that attitude. And I do. However, I do know, what I never tell anybody no. I just tell them how the path is going to work based on what I know. Do I know absolutely everything? Absolutely not, right? There could be a program that came out yesterday that says, we're going to give you 0%. I don't know about that. If you know about that, good for you. I tell you what I know in my sphere. And my sphere happens to do with Fannie Mae, home style renovation. There's two versions. There's a limited, which is like like $50,000 and less, or $50,000 or more. There's a Freddie version, right? Same thing. There's an FHA version, which is like $35,000 or more. These products are phenomenal. Nobody's using them to the level that they should be. 85% of the housing stock in the United States is at least 50 plus years old.
Mm-hmm.
Every house needs work, right? 85% of them do, right? And so use these tools. Now, the renovation loans, the cookie cutter ones, the cheap ones with the 30-year fixed money have restrictions. Number one, you gotta have a job, right? That's important, right? Number two, you have to have decent credit. Generally 620 or above, not 780, not 850, 620. So mostly, decent credit. And then you got to have a little bit of money for a down payment. But if you have those three little components and you work with us, we will show you what you can do. Like I said, you could go to 4321hack.com or go to YouTube 4321 and see success stories of people in Chicago, across the country, that were like, can I really do this? And like, we're absolutely there. These tools are available. You can Google. You will see a lot of negative information out there. And my personal opinion is that without the expertise to help you along the way, because like most lending companies are like, hey, we're going to get you to the finish line, which is closing, and then we wish you the best. Right? We don't do that. We're there with you during the construction project. We have kind of a more of a commercial kind of attitude, which is like, we're going to check in on you like throughout the process, make sure everything's okay. Sometimes things aren't going okay. And we know what you should be doing. Like your contractor, maybe went to another job. Let's circle him in. Let's talk to that person, and just tell them like, listen, this is the bank talking. I'm the bad cop. The client is the good cop, right? They can never be the bad cop. I have to be the bad cop for them because they're the ones that are going to be kind of more on site, dealing day to day with the contractor. Hey, contractor, you got to get going, man. Like, we got a construction draw that needs to be going tomorrow. So I need you back at the site, ASAP. We need that right now. Can I have your assurances that you are going back there? Just those little nudges here and there help the project stay on track, right? And that's what we want, because we want that track to be a successful one, so you can do it again, right? And again, and again. Right. And then you won't need us to step in, because you've seen everything that we've done, and you would have that trusted, group of, subcontractors, general contractors, inspectors, whatever you need. We just want to kind of give you that, that path to follow and tell you it's not that challenging. Construction's hard, right? Owning property is hard, right? Getting the financing really isn't. People that are telling you that it is, you're just talking to the wrong people. So that being said, Calvin, Danita, questions, comments, random thoughts?
No, I love it, man. So, ladies first. I'm sorry.
No, did you mention how many years you have to stay in one property before you can do the next thing?
I did not, but that's a great question, right? So Fannie Mae and FHA have a 1 year minimum, 12 months, right? Not 30 years. So I buy a 4 flat, I fix it up, I live in it for a year, I refinance, right? I want to go buy another 3 flat. I'm good. I'm good. I've checked that box. I've occupied the property as my owner occupancy for 12 months, 1 year. Then I can go buy another one. You can't do it every 3 months, right? I know people get excited, like I want to buy 10 properties
Right.
next year. No, again, go back to the get wealthy over time plan, not the get rich quick,
Right.
right? So I definitely feel like 12 to 18 months is kind of the shortest time frame
Okay.
to be, getting, especially for new people, like getting used to stabilization, used to being a landlord, being used to just the in and outs of the everyday life of being a property owner. And I think that's probably more realistic. But somebody has a great skill set, they know what they're doing, they got the money saved up, their GC, they got everything that they got lined up. Could you condense that down to buying a property every 12 months? Absolutely, and you would not be breaking any rules whatsoever.
Okay.
Nice,
Thank
nice,
you.
nice. Man, great question.
Thank
I
you.
got to follow that. Yeah, so I love it that you're talking about rehab loans and both from a customer end and a contractor end. Myself as a contractor, I work on them and I love them. Some of my fellow contractors don't like them so much. I think, and I tell them that yeah, you do a little bit more paperwork, but at the end of the day, you're getting paid by the bank.
It's
Uh,
guaranteed. You
when
don't gotta worry about somebody like, and I had my general contractor's license, right, for a number of years.
Mhm,
So, as a general contractor, you are going on the word of somebody that they have this money.
mhm.
You're doing a $200,000
Yeah,
renovation.
yeah,
Let's say you get a 10%, upfront fee,
mhm,
$20,000.
mhm.
You do $40,000 of work. You didn't ask for that guy's bank statement,
Right.
right? You didn't ask to verify anything. We give you a statement that shows you line item what you're going to pay whenever you request it. So for contractors, and we work with them too. Again, they're our family, right?
Mhm,
So what I try to do is like, the first one, use the first one as the lesson, right? And there's a term called play in your slice, right? Which means like, I hit the ball over there, so I'm going to aim over here so it goes straight, right? So if I know that I have a very, very lean organization, right? I need those checks to come in, right?
mhm,
So I'm going to tee up the draw
mhm.
when, let's say it's Monday, and I know it's going to take them 7 days to process that draw, right? Including order the inspection, inspector coming out, inspector taking pictures, sending it back, and then releasing the draw.
Mhm,
So I'm going to order the draw on Monday because I know my guys are going to finish up on Friday. I'm going to have the inspector, the guy who comes out, takes the pictures on Friday.
mhm.
So then Monday or Tuesday, the draw is released, right? Play in the slice, right?
Yeah.
And then once you've done that, keep the template and then duplicate it again. Once you go through it once, I'm just trying to oversimplify stuff, but if you set it all up and you save it in a folder on your desktop, you should be able to replicate it time and time again. I remember filling out, partial lien waivers. I remember filling out, final waivers and, creating these systems so that way I just clicked it, changed a couple things, and then moved on to the next. So we want contractors, for lack of better words, to get better with their paperwork because the upside is you ain't got to worry about chasing people down. The money's right
Yeah.
there. It's already in the bank, right? You can be, you do more of these jobs, you get that reputation. We help out the 85% of people that want, to use these products. If we can put that all together, we're cooking with gas.
Yeah.
Now, I know you mentioned we deal with a lot of 203K rehab loans. Are there other types of loans too that you?
Yeah, so
Hey.
FHA, as I was mentioning, FHA is kind of like was the mothership, right? FHA 203K.
So
Before November of last year, the 203K was the only real game in town for 2 flats, 3 flats, and 4 flats, right? Single family homes, they still had a product, Fannie and Freddie, but last November, they decided to kind of like take this leap, which I believe is amazing for everybody, so that you can now put 5% down on a 4 flat and get, money to fix it up to $1.5 million, right? So you can buy an $800,000 4 flat You got to qualify for it, right? But
Right.
you buy $800,000 floor flat and get $700,000 to fix it up. Make a
Mm.
make a very nice owner's duplex with 3 rental units. Those 3 rental units are going to cover the mortgage payment. So if I go back to my 4-3-2-1 steps to financial,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Your floor flat, the floor flat that you buy,
Yeah.
you live in one, you rent out the other 3,
Yeah.
they cover your mortgage payment. Now, it's more about understanding the system, but also economic intelligence, right? So I live in this floor flat, I rent out the other 3, they cover my mortgage payment. My housing payment, which everyone has to have a roof over their head,
Right.
let's say it's $1,500 a month. Well, now that I have extra $1,500 a month, I don't go blow $1,500 extra a month, right? I save it, right? So for 12 months, I'm saving that, right? And now at the end of the year, I got enough money for another down payment, right? And so when I leave that floor flat, now the three rental units were covering the mortgage payment. Now it's cash flow positive with that 4th unit, right? And so now I buy the 3 flat, do the exact same thing. You duplicate it. So by the time I get to that single family home, the passive income from the 4 flat, the 3 flat, the 2 flat, you have no payment on the single family home because of the positive cash flow. That's just the tip of the iceberg, right? As everybody knows, there's amazing tax write-offs if you own real estate, right? It's the only system that I'm familiar with where you can actually be making money, and because of things like depreciation, which says that it's going to go down in value when it goes up in value. I don't understand that one, but I'm not knocking it, right? It's a deduction, right? So you got those where you can actually say you're not making as much money as you are
Okay.
on the property and be able to buy more, right? You get to write off your gas going back and forth to your properties. Everybody knows, I'm pretty sure in this space, everybody knows the loopholes that are available, with not only self-employed and, owning real estate. I mean, the tax code is a beautiful thing. So take advantage of it, buy real estate, fix it up, add value, create passive income, and do it again. My personal opinion.
Gotcha. And then I'm aware of the Bird method. It's actually my preferred method of investing, real estate investing. But I've never heard this approach before. I just learned something tonight. I always try to learn something every day, and I've learned about. I'm just not learning about this 4-3-2-1 method that you're describing. So in essence, you're saying your first step move. If I'm a new investor and I qualify, I should be looking for a four unit where I can utilize some kind of rehab loan, whether it be 203K or home style or some kind of rehab loan on. Is that right? As the first step?
That's my opinion. So I always tell people, like, I don't put people in harm's way. I was the original lab rat. This is what I did when I started.
Mm.
I bought the 4 flat,
Mhm.
and then I bought, then I bought the building down the street. Then I bought the building behind me. And fast forward, I've renovated, hundreds of properties. Like I said, I got a sickness. I like doing it, right?
Mhm.
So, now, whenever something's done, I got to do it again, right? But it's not out of necessity. It's actually truly out of desire now, right? So, the first one, I learned a lot on that first one, right? I didn't have, all the pieces of the puzzle, but I was just willing to jump in the deep end of the water, and I learned it. And now, I'm able to give people, and we're all are, right, to give people our knowledge and say, listen, I can't tell you to do it this way, but if this is the way I did it and it worked out pretty well. We didn't have the tools that most people have now.
Mhm.
Like when I bought my first multifamily, I didn't have YouTube, didn't have Angie's List, didn't have all these resources that would allow me to know that this is going to cost X. Now, if I want to, I could Google anything right now. You can Google how to build a house from scratch.
Yeah.
YouTube will show you how to do it, whether it's pouring the footings, foundation, every step of the way. You
Yeah,
can.
artificial intelligence.
We didn't have that when we were kids, right? You just had to, do it the hard way. So use the tools you have. I always tell people, fact check me. I don't care. Go ahead. Google all my stuff, right? Anything I'm telling you, I'll tell you there's good and bad out there. And generally the good had a great team. The bad decided, like, I don't need anybody, which we know that don't work, right? You need a good team. You need trusted people that are going to be with you for the long haul. That's how you're successful. So, as contractors know, this is one of my favorite phrases to, clients that come to me like, now I got a couple quotes, but I'm gonna keep on shopping. I was like, your cheapest quote will cost you the most money,
Mhm.
right? Just so you know, right? So, keep that in mind. Now, if you go down that path, I can't tell you not to, but you're, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this guy was gonna do it for 50,000. This guy's gonna do it for 10,000. Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah.
But you can only, what's the phrase? You can lead a horse to
Can make
water,
'em-
but you can't make him drink. You can't lead the millennial anywhere. And so, you you just gotta let them do. But you're there. We're there. To catch them. Like, hey, it didn't work out. Like, I'm not gonna tell you this. I told you so. But yeah, here's a group like the renovation room. Quickly throw a tip up there. Hey, I need to swap out a general contractor. Cool. It's not the hardest thing in the world. We fill out a couple pieces of paper. You might have a little argument there or here, but let's move. Let's not dwell on it. But in construction, every day is problem solving, right? Problem solving every day. Like waking up, going, what are we going to solve today? What are we going to figure out? What problem are we going to crush? If you have that mentality, these tools will help you create whatever you want.
So is it okay, Ryan, if we go through? We saw a few questions come in the comments. Is it all right if we ask a couple?
Sure, absolutely.
Still got time? Okay. Nita's gonna do the honors here.
Oh,
She has a fancy
well, I have
laptop.
my readers on. It says, does the 4-3-2-1 methods work when you already own your home?
Tough, right? So the whole thing is the owner occupancy. I'll give you another option, right?
Okay.
So when I was buying some property, I was showing friends of mine what I was doing, and they were like, "I want to do that too."
Okay.
I'm like, cool. Well, if you want to go in on it together, I will work with you. We'll go on a 50-50. You will be the owner occupant, right?
Okay.
And I will be kind of like the overall, kind of project manager, but we're doing this together, right? Because we need that owner occupancy. So I run into a lot of people that are like, man, where were you 20 years ago, man? I got my single family home now, and it's just not believable. Again, I could say that you're going to live there, but this underwriter, this goalkeeper, this gatekeeper, we got to convince them. And if you have a 6-bedroom, 5-bath house, in some suburb, and you're going to try to buy a 4-flat for $700,000 downtown, probably not going to buy it. Right. So it's got to make sense. Now, there's times where, I legitimately have clients that, their kids went off to college and they're like, I don't want this house anymore. I'm selling this. I'm moving down. I'm actually moving downtown. I'm moving to Pilsen, getting a 4-flat. That makes sense. Right. So we got to put the plausible story in front of the underwriter to have it make sense. So does that mean maybe you partner up with a trusted family member, cousin, some, my kids, when they graduate college, you know what they're doing. They're getting 4-flats, right? So like they're already teed up. So the short answer is there's ways you can do it. Would you want to start back over, into that, pattern? You totally can. But sometimes people don't, if it's a family and you got 3 little ones, you're probably not moving in a 4-flat, and an underwriter knows that. So don't cut your nose off to spite your face. These tools are good enough. You can figure out a way to make them work without doing anything that's going to put you in harm's way.
Got it. Another question that was asked, how does this apply if you own property under an LLC?
Okay, so this is, so we talked about residential and commercial. Commercial, you always have to own it in an LLC. They don't want it in your personal name. Residential, they want it in your personal name, right? So if you own other properties in an LLC, this does not prohibit you from doing this, right? So I have clients that I've educated on this that, we're in the commercial space and a 10-unit building and a 20-unit building. I told them about this, like what? Like you could put down how much? Like you crazy? Like, yeah, And so they bought a 4-flat in their own personal name after the fact, right? And then went down my system because they didn't even know they were available. So they're two separate things. Now, you really shouldn't put the residential property in an LLC because an LLC actually creates a barrier between you and the bank, and they don't like that. You know, in the commercial space, that's all they want. So it's just two different spheres. But the residential world, you know, you can take it in your own name, no matter if you own properties in other LLCs. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Now, what was my other question I was going to ask? Someone mentioned about credit and like when you were trying to apply. I know you said at least a 620 or 680. What was it?
620.
620. So can you give them the scenario of what that looks like, the whole credit application status, like requirements? So like if they need like employment, credit, and whatever else they need. Because someone asked, I can't find
Yeah,
it.
no worries. So yeah, so you need a job. You need a job, get the money, right? You gotta have income, right? A little bit of down payment, not much. Typically, most of our clients are coming in with 3.5%, right? So that's 3.5% of acquisition and construction costs. If I buy a place for 400,000 and do $100,000 worth of work, that's a total of 500,000. I need around $16,500 to pull that project off. That's pennies, right? The Freddie Mac version is 5%. So same scenario, $25,000, right? To get $100,000 to fix up the property. Credit. So yeah, you need a minimum score of 620. You know, the better, the higher, the better, right? And that usually meets like at least 3 active trade lines. So 3 accounts, 3 credit cards, maybe a credit card, a car payment, and a student loan, right? So 3 active trade lines and having a score of 620 or above, right? Again, better, that's good, right? But it's not that, you know, high of a bar to get. And if if you're not there, you know, there's programs out there. There's all types of credit repair programs that I love telling people, not right now, right? But I don't want you to lose focus, right? So if somebody's got 660 or 560, right? Hey man, you're not far, man. I'm telling you, like, number one, let's look at this. Let's talk about this. Like, let's get you in a credit repair program. You'd be surprised what they do very quickly. Like, you know, it's not going to happen for like 90 days, but in 6 months, you know, they'll probably get you there. That'll give you time to save up enough money for your down payment, put all your ducks in a row, and then boom. So it's not get rich right this second, it's get wealthy over time. And putting all the pieces in place so that way you are setting yourself up for success. We want to set you up for success. We want to help you do this multiple times. And that only happens by us putting you in the right direction.
Gotcha. Understood. Got any more questions? They were rolling in.
I know. That was it. I can't see all the comments.
Brianna had it.
That's the one that Breon asked, I think. So
So Ryan, you want to say what your website was? It 4321hack.com?
That's it. So again, Ryan Cotter, 4321hack.com is the website. YouTube 4321hack. We're success stories. We're putting more of them on there just to get the negative narrative around these programs out of there, because this is, I mean, clearly this is what we specialize in, right? So like we're passionate about it. And you know, the beauty of life is when you can find the intersection of passion and purpose, you know, you're waking up every day with, you know, enthusiasm. And so educating people on how to take advantage of these programs, you know, putting all those naysayers like, oh, you don't want to do that. Like, yeah, like the average consumer that actually gets this loan, you know, swims through a sea of people telling them no, right? Don't do that. You don't want to do that. And then they make it to the shore, and we're like, yeah, totally, we'll get that done for you. Like, there's a lot of times where our clients, when I'll, you know, talk to them the first time, they'll be like, why are you like way different than everybody else I've talked to? Everyone's like, no, don't do this. I'm like, because we specialize in it. They don't know how to do it. We do it really well. We can close them in 45 days from start to finish. Go find a place. Let's get you pre-approved. Get out there. They're like, Seems
Someone
weird.
said they have
Google me, go on YouTube, check out, get, validate is, is something that I tell people because I'm not afraid of it. Like, validate my information, validate me, ask, ask the top real estate agents in the city of Chicago if, if I do what I say I do. I'm good with it. You call them up. I give you their number.
No, we know you're very, very passionate about what you do, Ryan.
I love it, man.
Another question slash statement, basically. They said that they have a mixed-use property, 2 one-bedrooms, I think,
Yeah, two.
and 1 office space, and they have a very hard time trying to refinance because I guess it's listed as commercial space.
Yep. Yep. So, when you go to 4321hack.com, there'll be an opportunity to sign up for a free consultation, visit one of our webinars, all kinds of stuff, specifics, just because of the different property types that we deal with, just hit me up, got no problem, walking you through, analyzing the situation. We work with a lot of local banks in the Chicagoland area. Some of them like, specific, property types, some of them, like certain areas. And it's kind of like, to explain that to people, like, this bank wants to lend right in here, within this like 5 square miles.
Right.
Really? Like, yeah, they do. I don't know. Don't ask me. They want to do it. So I just know they do. And your property sits within that square mile. This is probably the bank that we want to go to because they're going to make the path of least resistance, right? That's on the commercial side. On the residential side, it's very cookie cutter. It's square peg, square hole. Sometimes we get jam. Somebody, it's got 619 credit scores. They, 3.5, but they don't have money for closing costs. We work in a closing cost credit from the seller. We could jam this, the square peg into the round hole from time to time, right? But on the commercial side, it's kind of locally based, so, and very specific.
Right.
So feel free, again, hit me up, 4321hack.com, and I'll be happy to kind of go through the scenario with you. And if I can, point you in the right direction, take you down the right path, either one. I tell people a lot of times, you should go right to that bank. I don't work with that bank. That bank is a very good bank, and they will take great care of you. And I know they specialize in what you're looking for. I have no problem doing that one at all. That comes back, many, many times over, where people are like, "You're gonna tell me to go to this guy?" Like, yeah, they're gonna do a better job for you. And they're like, "I'm gonna refer somebody to you." I'm like, you can. That's all right. I'm good with it.
Man, I just appreciate you.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say thank you for joining our Renovation Room, newly formed Renovation Room Business Association.
Yes.
We're just, as you can see, we're just trying to build a network of people that share information, help each other as much as we can. So we appreciate you, Ryan, for joining us, man. And we look forward to many more of these type of events, spreading good news and information to people.
Success stories, helping out the people in the communities that need it, right? We're all, Chicagoans, right? Let's make this city, amazing, right? And there's tools. Like, I was at City Hall last week with the everybody down there, and there's all these great programs, and we were strategizing on how to attack. Chicago has such beautiful housing stock, right? Like, after the Great Chicago Fire, the Eastern European immigration that came over to build all these beautiful buildings that just need some love. Like, it's amazing, and it's not like this in a large portion of the country. So my obviously my passion is like, I see a boarded up beautiful gray stone, like, man, let's fix that guy.
Yeah.
Let's fix it. So please call me. I want to help you do that work in any block in the city of Chicago.
Thank you, man. Yeah, and I literally just had an inspection today. As you know, the city of Chicago Building Department is the new code is in effect to let my fellow contractors and investors know out there they're not playing anymore. So these type of programs help with that. If you got to do build a property, if you have to use hardy siding on a property, or if you have to insulate it correctly, or not, if you do have to do it now. So these renovation loan programs are great. I suggest you guys reach out to Ryan to 4321hack.com. please reach out to the brother. This is a great program. I wish I'd have known about this when we started investing 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's the city.
We did it backwards. We
What
started with a single family house and then tried to go that way. Yeah.
So the city was go back to the city of Chicago. So if something has building code violations, we can, we correct it, right? We work with the city. The city will allow you to have what they call a subordination agreement. You find a property that has all these building code violations. I run into this all the time where they're like, oh, it's got all these building codes. I'm like, well, it's fine. They're like, what do you mean it's fine? Like, we work with the city of Chicago's legal department. They give us, 6 to 12 months to cure all the violations in the loan. And they're like, yeah, yeah. We send the letter down. It takes them, the city time, right? Get the signed letter back, right? And then, we close on the loan. So all these properties that had building code violations. The last one I had had the task force on it, and the task force comes. It's not great, but we turned it around. We're going to have permits. We found out about it probably 6 weeks ago, and we'll have permits early next week from a task force. When the task force go out there, they're looking for everything. They're not, they're not the world's nicest individuals, right? But they're sweet people. Don't get me wrong. But going to look for every nook and cranny. And so when we come in and we go, like, no, we're good. We're going to cure every violation because that's all they're really caring about. Right? They want stuff fixed, right? And so when you present, again, like remember that sheet of paper showing all the whole budget? Like you don't have to worry about if this is going to get stopped at any point in time. All the money's right here. It's right. It's in an escrow account, right? So they don't got to worry about if the owner's going to do $20,000 worth of work and then maybe not have any more money to do the work, right? And then it could sit there, right? No. It's all right here. Look, everything: plumbing, electric, HVAC, siding, roof. It's like itemized down with the dollar amount. It makes them feel comfortable to go, okay, we're going to give you a year. No problem. We'll see what happens. We get it done, passes, everybody's good.
Yeah, oh yeah. And like you said, ultimately at the end of the day, that's what they want. And that's what we all want. We don't want these abandoned properties in our neighborhoods. We want families. And earlier today, I was talking to a colleague. I'm doing a few projects on the southeast side, and seeing the kids going to school. I was there early, and I'm seeing all these abandoned buildings and boarded up buildings on this particular block. And I told him, I said, man, I remember when I was a kid and just seeing these kids walk through these neighborhoods, seeing abandoned buildings and boarded up buildings, it don't sit right with me. So it's part of the reason why I do what I do, you know what I mean? So with you coming with this information, and I didn't even think about it from that aspect of taking on a building with building code violations, is literally written into the scope of work for the rehab loan. So I never thought of that. Of course, the city wants to see that. They want to see you're going to cure that roof and that parapet wall and that masonry and everything. So
take a look at the city of Chicago's troubled building initiative. Okay, so those are the ones that that they just the city has earmarked, and that's who we're working with. Will Edwards down there at the city of Chicago of attacking that, because they're like we got all these programs nobody's taking advantage of them. Like, you don't need new programs. There's programs already out there. It's just about the education, right? And and working through the various groups to understand that you don't need a special anything to do this, right? I mean, you just need to get a job, a little bit of money for a down payment, decent credit, and you can make these buildings into income producing properties that you create equity. So again, I always sound like kind of like a broken record of talking about it, but I was trying to like hammer it home, like, come on, like it's just sitting there for you. Just take it, go. Don't be afraid. Like, we will work with you and make sure that you're a success.
Amen.
Love it.
Well, that's it, because I'll talk all night, man. Me and you'll be on here till midnight.
She got a meeting. She got to get out of here.
I'll do stuff all day, bro.
Closing it out.
Yeah, but no, man, we appreciate you, man. You definitely get back in time, brother. And I look forward to it, man. I look forward to it. It's going into the end of this year, fourth quarter, 2024, 2025. I just see a lot of information, a lot of prosperity, a lot of progress to be made. Yes, sir. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. Again, reach out to me, 4321hack.com, 4321hack on YouTube. Look at the stories. If If you feel like it's something that you're interested, call me, talk to your friends, family. Just don't be afraid. Water's warm. Come on in.
Make sure you save this video so it stays in the group so people can
Okay.
refer back to it.
I'll do my best. My technology isn't the best.
You great.
You guys have a great night.
I struggle too, bro, with the live,
All right, well, you guys have a great night.
All right, you too. You too. Take care. Take care. Everyone, take care. Bye, everyone. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you.